for that to be able, that what we are talking about blockchain, it's not about really one ministry. It's something that we call interdisciplinary.
All right.
Let's say my example as an accountant, to be able to implement a blockchain technology, it's not only the work of the accountant. So there is interdisciplinary. There should be some IT technician. There should be someone who knows about the coding, about Ethereum. There should be the accountant themselves, and there should be the business information system guy as well, that are specialized in business transactions.
Hi guys, welcome back to BFN. Today I have a great pleasure to welcome Dr. Bhavish Juggurnauth, a chartered accountant and economist, and we will be talking about blockchain and cryptocurrency. Good morning, Bhavish.
Good morning, Benito.
How are you?
Good, doing great, Benito.
I would request you to introduce yourself, please.
I'm Bhavish Juggurnauth. So I'm a chartered accountant and economist, and I've been basically involved in much research and consultancy work for the last 15 years, both in Mauritius and internationally,
Right.
mainly in Australia and then in Africa. So
Okay. So I understand that you have been involved in blockchain and cryptocurrency, and since how many years are you involved in this industry?
Since I would say 2010, after the financial crisis, is where everyone started talking about crypto, and this affected the financial world in a way.
Okay.
And being a finance person, this is where my journey on crypto, Bitcoin started.
All right.
So since then, I have been involved in many projects, some funded from African institutions and also from the European Union.
Okay.
And I'm also currently involved in few projects in Europe with some European partners on blockchain and fintech.
I want to start with a very basic question for people to understand. What is blockchain and cryptocurrency all about?
This started the history, if I can say so, since 2008, where we are facing with the world financial crisis, which meant that people around the world, mainly the financial world, be it investors, businesses, had lost faith in those financial institutions. That being so, because there was bad decisions basically from investment bankers in terms of the management of the money or the funds. So since then, with this trust that being lost by investors on those financial institutions, which I would call intermediaries, so there has been many ways, research and ways that many people started looking in terms of how to go about what would be the solution. And this is where, I would say different means of payment started, and the so-called Bitcoin and cryptocurrency started. So as a medium of, I would say, exchange, but exchange not being so. So this is where I would say the digitalization of the financial world started. Right? And eventually now, after that, that event of the Bitcoin, at some stage it went well and it failed. And then eventually we are now talking about many things in terms of blockchain, artificial intelligence, robotics. So it's all coming one after the other. So I would say that in terms of blockchain and cryptocurrency, in a short definition, I would say where there is these transactions coming, but without any intermediaries. So it will be a two-way traffic without a middle person. Exactly, yeah.
We were talking about Bitcoin. I think in 2008, Bitcoin was around 0.01 cent, and has reached a peak of nearly 20K in 2017, I think, and actually it is around 10K. I know there's the volatility of Bitcoin price is very high. Do you think Bitcoin is a good investment?
Yeah, so in a way, I would say as any investment, it is a time period that is important. As Bitcoin started, as mentioned in roughly 2007, Around this time, you would see there has been an interest on that. It was a new product. There was people who were looking, investors were seeing that there is a near future. It is like a new financial instrument that eventually could be used. But then came, I would say, in between, the question of trust in terms of confidentiality, the trust of that medium being used in financial transactions. And eventually what we saw is there has been a deep, slash in the prices. That being so, it has been a couple of years that this went through in terms of the prices of Bitcoin. And I would say that after that, there has been so many, like the European crisis, the financial crisis, so many countries face different situations. And globally, I would say it is on average that people are still regaining confidence in terms of Bitcoin. But I would say during the last 2 years, during my some project I'm working in Europe, you would see there is now again a resurgence, I would say, or some double confidence coming into Bitcoin.
All right.
But going in, I would say that Bitcoin at some point in time, it started rising. But then, because of this confidence, that's why you would see after Bitcoin, people are now talking about cryptos because of this safety issue.
Yeah.
I think because of that. So there are raised question in terms of how you would make it more in a way attracting in a way that it is secure as well. So I think this is one of the important things that investors will
There's
do.
one important point that we need to highlight with Bitcoin. It is limited in supply.
Exactly.
So in the future years, the demand for Bitcoin will increase.
Yeah.
So if we abide to the economic rules, if the supply is limited and the demand for Bitcoin, the price, what will happen?
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right.
So as you mentioned, I would totally agree with you because actually I would say if you, at the moment that we are talking now with this COVID-19, so many things, I would say, if I can mention it, has been disrupted in the economy. And there is, again, a new surge for new ways of transactions. You would see nowadays, we have learned lessons from where we are today. And everyone is talking about digitalization. Okay, so I think you are right. So if you see currency, there is particularly in many countries, there is a crisis of currency. So of course, I would say that Bitcoin, the demand will increase, so will be the price. This is what I would expect.
So investors, take note. So we have been talking about cryptocurrency. Now you have the technology behind cryptocurrency. We're talking about blockchain. So many people have been talking about blockchain for many years, and blockchain can be applied in different sectors. Can you tell us how blockchain could help governments and private companies?
Now, I think I would say the last 5 years I'm working on that is kind of the buzz of the town, I would say. Okay, maybe many people don't understand what it is, but everyone is talking about blockchain.
That's true.
What is, how can it be helpful? You would see blockchain is now being adopted in many sectors. I would say most sectors can be adopted, right? But key sectors that are being implemented, to start with, being a finance person, myself, I'm trying to put it in the financial sector. Notwithstanding that, there is another market, if I can take the example of Austria, where it is being used as well in the public sector. So be it any services, essential services, electricity, energy, blockchain is being adopted. And this has been successfully being adopted. And I would say that in Austria, they are the world blockchain center. I mean, they're leading blockchain center. So one of the aspects that they have been working for the last 2 years is in terms of their public sector. So they are using it in multiple ways, from energy, property, and financial service sector.
Can the same model be replicated here in Mauritius?
I would say in terms of technology, it can be replicated, but it should be customized.
All right.
Right? Because it's not something that, like a law you replicate. Blockchain, the adoption, we have to firstly see, because in blockchain, the ecosystem is very important. And people need to understand this ecosystem. Besides that, there is what we will say about the different laws that should be, I would say, enforced or introduced for the proper running of this ecosystem. Exactly. So we have to ensure first that the predicaments, I would say, are here before replicating. And you would see even in Australia, the implementation has taken maybe 3 to 4 years before from what they started and where they are now. So this is very important, I would say, the ecosystem. And the ecosystem is something very dynamic. As you would say in economy, everything is dynamic, and how things are moving, are changing, new things are coming, many things are coming obsolete. So this dynamic things is very important in the ecosystem. So first of all, we have to understand the ecosystem, what we want, what we currently have, and what we are expecting for this blockchain to work. Then it can be eventually be implemented.
Okay, and how blockchain will affect the work of accountants?
So I've been working on that since the last 5 years. You would see, I would give you an example I have been working on, and I would take an example of the Eccleston Square Hotel in the UK, in London. I did my booking, online booking, everything was done, and everything in terms of my paperwork, everything was done, room allocation, everything was done. I did not notice that.
Right.
But when I went there, I was just greeted, someone just greeted me and gave me an iPad. The reception was not there. Okay, right. No receptionist. So from the iPad, I was given all my code and my room number and everything. And it's like, it was a guided iPad, and I was also given a smartphone, right? Okay. So the iPad will give me the direction, okay, the first floor, turn right, turn left, just like a bit, you are being guided on the road by your smartphone in terms there. So the same thing happened. So even for the door, even for the reservation, everything on the iPad. No one at all. So if I needed to drink anything, I had to put any order. It was through this iPad. Okay. So just to give you an example. So now I just put it in the example. I'm the accountant. Okay. Years back, when I had after the financial year, we had to do let's say the auditing, the accounting, the financial statement of that particular hotel. We have to send someone there to collect all the information. We had to look at the debtors file, the creditors file, the cash book, and all that. But now, through this particular example, no paperwork at all. Okay, so now you would imagine when the accountant will need to go there is no paperwork, nothing. What he's provided would be the iPad. Yeah. So then the hotel will say, okay, no need to come as well.
We'll just send you all the information.
Oh, everything will be in your office, so it's there. So what I am trying to explain here, there is a disruption. Okay? So imagine now, let's say the accountant who has no knowledge, just given an iPad, how to look for the information, because all the information are there. Now, more important is the technology in terms of the language that the iPad is capturing the information and is saving the information. How is the accountant going to retrieve the information? So obviously you would say this technology has some coding done. So I would say indirectly as well, the accountant will need to decode that. So what I'm trying to say here, blockchain technology, so this now is being used in blockchain. Right. So everything through the ecosystem that the different stakeholders are interconnected in the ecosystem that we were describing before. So there is a disruption. What an accountant used to do, what he is supposed to do now with this technology in between is completely different. It's changed. So I would mention here, it's a 360% change. So this is the situation if you use blockchain technology. So I'm just giving one example in one field. Yeah. And this could be applied in different fields, be it in the law, maybe for baristas, lawyers, property developers, for the government, So if we are going to apply that technology, there is a huge disruption happening. So I just did, just before the confinement, we did few workshops where we said that if you are not updated, in terms of accountant or economist, if you are not updated about these technologies,
you become obsolete.
You are obsolete. So this is the final one.
I think we can use blockchain for land registry too.
Yeah.
And we connect all the notaries.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there should be like some committees that need to be set up at the national level to discuss about all these and see how we can benefit from all the technology itself. Okay, so let's talk a bit about the legal framework of fintech in Mauritius. How do you see the actual legal framework?
So in Mauritius, you would say, if I can recall well, and if I'm updated actually, you would see in Mauritius we have this sandbox license where the Financial Services Commission has been working for the last couple of years. We have that. So to my knowledge, for the time being, this is the only main legislation that we have.
That's true.
In Mauritius. So in my opinion, as we just mentioned, in implementation of any technology, especially fintech and blockchain, the legal framework is very important because this is regulated, because the legal framework in finance is very important, because this is the important aspect that will give confidence to investors or anyone using this financial system. So we are at the start, I would say. It's the start, but I would say that there are many more that should be done. If we take example of, we just mentioned Austria, and I can also go a bit more in terms of Venezuela, in Brazil, where you just mentioned about property titles are all in blockchain. And to be there, because actually they had to implement that in terms of property titles, property contracts, everything is in the blockchain technology. Because why they started that? Because there was huge, in bracket, corruption there in terms of, probably your property is being sold, the owner doesn't know about it. So they implemented that technology where everything that is being, any transaction that is being done is in the system. So anybody can look at it, what is being sold, what is being done. So if ever you see your property there, you can react because this is the ecosystem, right? It is decentralized, so you can see that. But to be there, there is a whole lot of legislation that had to be changed. And I would say also in between there, everybody is recognized not by their name, by their digital identity.
Okay.
You would have to get all this stuff. So digital identity, there should be legislation. Otherwise, if someone else is using someone else's identity, so how you're going to save that? Where you're going to save that? Do we have the capacity? Who would be doing that? So everything has to be sorted out before you can fully implement these technologies. The ecosystem locally.
What is missing in Mauritius for us to do all these, like what Venezuela is doing? This should be initiative from different ministries of technology, financial services, or what are you recommending? What we should do to benefit, to apply this technology in Mauritius?
So first of all, as we said, this is a new concept. Technology, even in the technology area, I wouldn't assume that a simple IT technician with a BSc computer science, there is some specialization. Even I would say even the IT technician or an IT expert might not be a bit familiar with, let's say, someone who has done an IT expert in the last 10 years with these current happenings would know everything. So first of all, I think for this system to be implemented, there should be capacity.
All right.
There should be some expert. So this is the very first thing to ensure. If I'm not mistaken, there has been a lot of committees that has been set up in the recent years, at the Ministry of Financial Services, the Financial Services Commission, even at the Ministry of Finance, where they have debated in terms of putting Mauritius or heading Mauritius at the Fintech hub in Africa. So I would suppose that there has been a lot of work that has been done, but I think we'll wait for the implementation. But for that to be able, that what we are talking about blockchain, it's not about really one ministry. It's something that we call interdisciplinary.
All right.
Let's say my example as an accountant, to be able to implement a blockchain technology, it's not only the work of the accountant. So there is interdisciplinary. There should be some IT technician. There should be someone who knows about the coding, about Ethereum. There should be the accountant themselves, and there should be the business information system guy as well, that are specialized in business transactions. And of course, there should be as well the financial institutions as well being involved in this ecosystem for that to work. So in a whole, I would say there is no specific ministry that are responsible for that. So I think there should be some inter-ministerial committees that should be looking after that. So I think in the recent budget, there has been the Mauritian Digital Agency that has been put in place, being headed at the Prime Minister's office. So I think this would be a good move. That at least, previously it was, I think, different ministries had the different viewpoints working independently in terms of implementing that.
And I think in the last budget, the Ministry of Finance has announced that they will create a technology park in Cordoba.
Yeah. So I think though we still lack some information on what exactly they are going to do, but I think what we are talking today, if this is in the agenda of that particular digital or the agency that is being set up, so I think this would be a good move. But still, I think that we should take into account what has already been done, and probably compile in for the country, for the benefit of the country, in terms of a common strategy. Because if you look at what Singapore has been doing and what these countries in terms of Australia, European countries, so if we don't start it today, because we already very, very far from that.
Yeah.
So it's a very good point, a positive point that we are starting that. But I think we should accelerate on this thing, and because for the last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, in the budget, it was there that the countries has ambition to become the fintech hub in Africa. This is a very good ambition, but I think we should now start trying in terms of the implementation.
Yeah. If we need to sum up, blockchain is not a technology that we just take it from there and implement. It's a whole. We need to have the whole ecosystem. Okay. All right. I would like to thank you, and we have taken good note of all your recommendations. And a last word.
Last one, I would thank you and your team for inviting me here. But I think that, in terms of the blockchain technology, fintech, it's something very, very important. This is a new thing that is coming. Many people sometimes are saying that, they are not welcoming these technologies because there is a fear that, there would be many loss of jobs. Yeah. But what I would say here is, the world is changing, the world is dynamic, so you cannot avoid, new things that are coming.
We won't be able to stop the advance of this technology.
Exactly. But what we should also remind ourselves is, one is going, but new opportunities are being created.
New jobs, yeah.
So what I would say or recommend to maybe to people listening is we should be forward-looking, right? There is a need to updating ourselves, be it in any field that we are.
Our skills.
So there is a huge need that we should not be staying idle, but looking forward and readapting ourselves in terms of what we see, because technology would be the future. And if you don't know it, you would have to know it. If you don't know it, you are going to be obsolete. So I think my final word is, try to be updated, be farsighted, and readapt to the new situation.
Thank you, Bhavish.
Thank you, Benito. It was a pleasure for you to inviting me in your studio today. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.